Welcome to Trading Lounge and the daily US stocks for Monday, October the 24th, starting with the S&P to get our bearings. We're looking at an A wave, a B wave, down for wave 1, back for wave 2, then 3, 4, 5 down here for wave C. Is it possible to have wave C here? Well, probably, but the reason that I'm not doing that is that stocks like Apple, Amazon, Goldman Sachs, they haven't made lows below this previous low. They're still sort of up here and, doing some sort of corrective pattern up here. They haven't breached these lows. But I can certainly see that, it can be counted as an ABC. The other reason that I haven't done is it's just a little bit small in comparison to this. Still, it's okay to be small. I've seen many times that the size of this can be, sort of 61.8% the size of this previous wave here. And there are stocks, as just looking around, like at Johnson & Johnson here, that have got a nice ABC pattern down here, so they kind of look like they can sort of push up further. And those low volatility stocks like Berkshire, Hathaway and things like that, have got this sort of look and feel about them that they look bullish, and sure, they will go up, and we're looking for the market to move up. So at what point would I change and consider this being wave C down here as an ABC correction? Well, I'd have to get a classic trading, I'd have to get a larger impulse wave here rather than a corrective wave. I would have to see support on this level with a classic trading levels pattern. And the other thing that we're seeing in Asia a lot is that, and we're basically turning our banks into this now, the Goldmans and all the other ones that we look at. So we've been merging this over here, looking at this as the A wave here, and then an ABC pattern over here for this over here. So this is something that, like I mentioned, it was sort of more in the Asian and then the European markets, and now the US bank. So looking at this as the A wave here, an A wave, a B wave and a C wave up here, taking us higher. So should you be bullish? Well, I don't see, if you're trading stock, I don't see any problems with being bullish at the moment. This is the right place to do it because we can see that we need to be moving higher at that point. So, we can just be bullish and take, just look at the wave structure along the way and those sorts of things. So, but looking into this here, we're basically looking just for an A wave, a B wave and a C wave. I don't think I need to tweak it yet. There are some stocks where I should be moving wave A to here and wave B to here, and we'll talk about those. I think Google is one of them that comes to mind. There is another one there as well, but as far as we're looking at the moment, we always just start with the conservative count to the upside. Now that may be wrong or that may be right, but it's a good starting point because you can just basically build on that situation. So with this move to the upside, as you may recall, we're just looking at as the A wave, the B wave, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here coming, and this is roughly the 61.8%. But if this sort of moves through here and we get support on here, well, then we'll have to adjust it and move it to the upside. This is quite a big wave 2 as well. It did play out as an ABC pattern, but like I mentioned, there's some stocks that I could put this here and I could put this here for this, So what that would do, that would give me an extra leg to the upside. Instead of counting 1 from here, I would need to count 1 coming up to here. Do you know what I mean? So I'd have an extra wave. So if I do get an extra wave, then I'll need to add it onto here. It doesn't mean that we turn bullish at that point. If we get a classic trading levels pattern here, we will be going long again. I mean, you've got to put your trading hat on, Economists and analysts, we're a pretty useless bunch really. So, you've got to you've got to take a risk at some point. So having a nice tested support on this 4,000 just would be a nice logical step to the upside. So we'll just continue to drill in here a little bit, so you've got some sort of idea of what we're looking at with this is the general pattern for stocks. Like this wave 2 really tested me here, and I think it's really quite big for what we sort of looking at. So yeah, putting the B wave over here might be the best bet for that, because really the thing for this wave 2 here, I just feel that this A wave and B wave here is a little bit small. I think we need to play it out because it's conservative, because you can imagine if we get this to here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we finish here, and then we come down from, we have to be prepared for that, so we need to be looking at this move down here. Is it going to be corrective or is it going to be impulsive? So we need to work through to validate things, but I'm just pointing out that it is possible to look at this as a B wave here because it's just big and ugly, either way, we'll still be moving up higher over the next few days. I mean, as I mentioned, I was looking for Thursday to be the bearish day and Friday to be the bullish day, and it normally shores up late in the afternoon, but it just didn't do that until it opened on the Friday. So it's the structure was bigger than I expected. My timing wasn't quite right on it. There's a few things there, but it kind of seems that we're on track. So Monday should push higher. Tuesday morning you'll see some profit taking, and then you'll see the trend resume up higher. And then Wednesday we start getting swings in the market and so on. And then Thursday. So it looks like we're in the bullish weekly cycle at this point. I haven't cleaned this up, but this is we're looking at 1 and 2 there. That's not a big deal. Let's go to the 1K here. I haven't cleaned that up. I'll just go to and obviously that needs to come down here, and I can see the pattern here now. I can see this is wave 4 here with an ABC, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which I did quickly put into place down the low here. So that's just what I wanted to get to on this video anyway. So looking from wave B up here down to wave C of 2, we'd been counting down as 1 and 2, did all the homework down to this point, and this is where I kind of stuffed it up a lot here. But wave 3 here, and ABC for 4, then 1, ABC for 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish that off here. We could probably, I'll need to just double check that, but with the stocks it looks like this is wave 1 to the upside here, but I'll double check that. I got to bring in the cash market as well, just not the futures with all of this. But anyway, that's pretty much the pattern that we're looking at the moment. So over to Apple. So Apple's one of the ones that I find it difficult to put wave C here and call the low in. I could put wave C over here and have this as an A and a B and a C wave down here, and look at this as wave 1 here with an ABC for wave 2, and then continue to the upside there. So Apple is one that's not, because it didn't take out this low here, it can still fit in a different way. I mean, but it's way out of sync with everything else. But I mean, you got to look at everything, don't you? You know what I mean? And then sort of mull it over and try to get it into perspective. It does seem to count down better as an ABC here rather than a 5-wave structure. I can force a 5-wave structure in there and have this as wave 1 here and wave 2 coming back the same as the S&P. So we'll keep an eye on that. It can, certainly, obviously the 150 is going to be, a solid resistance here, but I think it can climb higher. The question is will it climb higher up to here? Will it actually have an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave coming up here, even higher up here? So, getting a position on this, a very small position here, and then building on top of the 150 could be a way forward as well. So we're certainly lifting off the lows as such, but as I mentioned before, last week I think it was, is that we you know, we can be bullish, but not to get lost in the idea of being a bullish market at this point, because we can't prove it. Like I said, that this hasn't made a new low. Not such a big deal here, but Amazon hasn't made a new low below here, and Goldman Sachs hasn't made a new low below here as well. There's probably some others, but obviously there's a mixed bunch of stocks, isn't there? I mean, some look bullish, some still look bearish, and followers and leaders and all of those sorts of things. I think in the last week of October, we've got the some big stocks. You know, I think Apple and Alphabet and Amazon. I think they all do their earnings in the last week of October. So we'll need to just be a bit mindful about those as well. But let's just continue to cruise in here. So we're on 1 day. I think I've got this counted in a different way here too somewhere. Let me just have a look here. Oh, this is this count. Yeah, right. You know, got to just sort of keep an eye on it, but that's okay. And what was those other days here for this? Sorry, just tuning in for Monday morning, getting the old brain cells. So we've got 1K. Oh, we've got 10.5 as well. And 1. Okay, we'll just have a look. I'll just see what my mess is. 10 and 5. 5. Okay, so this is still another count as well. Sorry, got so many counts. But this is just because we've got 3 waves here. I mean, we can count it in 3 waves. So I was just thinking this is an A and a B and a C wave down here. So just a double XY. We've had that before. It's come and gone, that one. Let's have a look at the 5K tick. So this is the same as the SP500, where we've got wave A and B here, then 1 and 2. Also such a big wave 2 as well that could fit like a B wave. But the problem is that wave 2 here, I'd like to look at wave 2s as zigzags, as a 5-3-5 structure. So 5 waves in here, then 3 waves here, then 5 waves here. It's a little bit out of proportion as well at this point, which is sort of okay. I mean, the C wave can be 1618 of this here, but it is big for a wave 2. You know what I mean? I just sort of think this would be a better fit here, but then that sort of doesn't fit quite nicely as a zigzag, a simple ABC zigzag for wave 2. You know, this is kind of a bit more of an accumulation process here. So. Yeah, anyway, we'll see if it sits on here. And you know, even when it gets here, you have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC. It'll take a while to sit on there, I'd imagine. There's a lot of history here for all of that as well. We'll just see how long the 3rd wave is, for example, as well. Those sorts of things into the 1K tick. Just to sort that out a bit further. So as the ABC pattern here, we've got this is the A, the B and the 1, the A, the B and the C for wave 2, so just the best fit. We've got 1 and 2 here, then it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up for the 3rd, 4th, 5th for the 3rd, the 4th and the 5th up here. So that's where we're sort of heading in that regard, just to refine this a little bit in here. So looking at from that wave 2 low there, let's just get in a little bit more data. So we've got the A, the B, the 1. I mean, I could look at this as, you know, it's difficult to count this up as 5 waves here. So, you know, it's probably, you know, you could look at this in, you could start putting WXYs all over the place here, you know. But I kind of like to keep a theme together with the other markets, and if we need to tweak them, we will, you know. But otherwise, yeah, the first tweak that I'll do is put the B wave over here, though, for this. So the A, the B, the 1 and the 2, and then as you can see in here a little bit, we've got nice 5 waves up here for 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2, and then we would have, I have to pull that apart a bit further, but it looks like 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5. So I still need the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th up here. So we're not at the top of this wave 3 yet. I won't label that with all the little ones in there, but we should see the top of green wave 3 coming pretty close to the 150 at that point. So we should be seeing, this is where it'll get, we know that the wave, the 150 is going to be complicated because of its history and being a medium level, but we're also going to have 2 sets of wave 4s here, maybe even 3 sets of wave 4s here. So it's going to get extra sort of complicated, but at least we know that. We know that we just need to be patient, and that will play out. Okay, so all we can do is follow the 5 waves up to here and then see how it pulls back. If it pulls back beyond 3 waves, so an A and B and a C wave down here, if it goes anything below a 3-wave structure, well, then we could be bearish. If it doesn't, then we need to be bullish at that point. That's it in a nutshell, just keeping it sort of simple as possible. So that's what we'll be sort of need to do. So there'll be a bit of a blind spot in all of that. I mean, of course, we can count these 5 waves up here and sell it, but I can't promise you that it's going to be into a wave 3 going to the downside, because of, there's just work to do, that's all. If it's not a perfect structure, then I need to, have more validation and evidence of a turn up here. Like I said, the first thing we do is put wave B here and then start looking at another 5 waves to the upside here. So steady as she goes, Captain. And over to Nvidia. So I've just dragged, you could count this any way you wanted to be honest. I've just dragged it in line with, within reason to, I mean, if I dragged it in line with Apple, I would put this over here, but I'm going to put it here because it does look like we can get a nice, reasonable 5 waves out of this here. I know you can count it as 3 if you look at this little as 1 and 2 in here, 3, 4, 5. So you could look at it like that. I could look at it, I can look at it in different ways, but whichever way it is, there's issues with every way that you look at it, and in the end, you can just end up having WXYs and still, doesn't really sort of help. But if we think of Apple here going up for 1 and 2 here and going up into the 3rd wave here, I think that's the best way to look at this here. So we've got 1 and 2 here, and we're going up into the 3rd wave. So we'll just leave it at that here. That will probably be under there. There looks like some sort of trend line through here that will also play out a little bit. We can just leave that there, but obviously we don't even need it. The 130 is going to be enough at that point. So that's where that is. So look, you can go long. How long for's the question with all of these. So Amazon, so I'm just having a look at the bigger picture here, in that as I mentioned, it hasn't taken out this low down here, and it's very difficult to count this up as 5 waves. That's not the low, that's the low there, but even if I use that as wave 1 here and 2 here, I still don't get a nice 3rd wave out of here. Do you know what I mean? Whichever way I look at this move up here, it doesn't count as bullish, and then it hasn't taken the low out here, so I can't see the low being in for the market. The only mistake I think I can make is having wave B over here and then wave C over here for wave B over here. I think that's the only thing that that I could the only mistake that I think that I could make at that point. And that's going to be really interesting, because if the market goes past the 61.8% here, then the world's going to think that that the bear market is over and the Fed's got inflation under control and all those things, and maybe they have, but I mean, I just have, you pay me for the patterns, and I'm just saying to you, I'm struggling to see how this can be ended at this, at this point here. And yet, there are stocks like this here that look good, and some of these stocks could make new highs. Do you know what I mean? But in a run up and then turn down, so they could do that. That's so the time, if I put the B wave over here, for example, and this becomes an A, B, C, and a C wave over here, and then comes down at that point, then this one here could make a new high above here and finish off as wave 5 and then come down, you know, those sorts of things, you know. So we'll see, but whichever way I look at this, you know, because I could look at all of this here as the A wave to all of this here. I could put the A wave here, the B wave over here, and the C wave down to this point here and have an ABC here, but I still don't get 5 waves up here. So I'm struggling to see how this can be completed. So, you know, I mean, I've got to look at everything, and you know, so that's what I do. That's what I'm doing. So yeah, the only mistake is over here on this. I think I might just go, I'll go to 1,100. So it's pretty much the same as the S&P to the upside here. So you can go long if you want. There's an A and a B and 1 and 2, and you know, moving up here. So 130, all pretty rosy at this point. I'll just go to 100 and see if there's any details that we can glean. Yeah, it's the same sort of thing here, just that big wave 2 here has been a bit whatever, and then 1 and 2. So yeah, I mean, this wave 2 is what this, I mean, this is another important point here. Still missing, got 1 2 3 4 5, still missing the wave 5 there. But the reason I'm putting that there for is because we really, one of the things that we can look at as a general consensus is that this is the length of wave 1 here. So we would want wave 3, wherever that may be here, if I can just remove these dudes. You know, we'd want wave 3 to be longer than that. So if it's not longer than that, then that would be an issue at that point, wouldn't it, you know? I'm just going to draw that in there just to remind me that that's there. So we need that longer than that. If that's not the case, then we'll probably have to drag the B wave across to here. Or, yeah, we could do that actually. We could just bring the B wave to here, the A wave to here, and then this wave C that we need over here. That could be all of wave C here for wave 2 at that point, you know, when we get to the, if this is under here, so to speak, then we'll just give that some consideration. So an A and a B and a C. I don't know how to count that, but I mean, I can see the 5 waves here. That's pretty simple, and we know, I can see that being corrective. Do I look at that as 1 2 3 4 5? I don't think so. I could look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 here, and all of this here is wave 4 and then wave 5. So we could end up having wave A up here for that. Looking at this, a bit weird, but I'm just shooting the breeze a bit, because wave 2 is simple, isn't it? Wave 3 here is a bit sort of, on the S&P we can count that as 5 waves. So all of this here can be wave 4 here and then wave 5 here. So we could just have wave A here. I'm just shooting the breeze, and I don't want to complicate things, but we just need to you know, we need to stay, we can't fall asleep at the wheel, that's all, you know. That's, so you kind of got to look at these things and see how that fits across the board, those sorts of things. But anyway, for the time being, we still room to the upside here for that. And meta platform, so we're looking at an A and a B and a C wave. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with all of that, and this is quite good. This is good, really. This is good. This is good news, because this is telling me that, see how we've taken out the low of wave B here. So this is telling me that this move to the upside is in 3 waves, and it means it will be taking out that low in due course. So here's another example to tell us that we need to be going lower at this point. I was a little bit unsure about this here. I can see that that's in 3 waves here, but the problem is it's taken out that low here. So I can't call that wave 1 up here. So yeah, a little bit unsure about that. I have to mull that over a little bit. I'll probably need to bring this over to this point here. But yeah, anyway, just a bit of an issue at that point. But yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1 and 2, then 1, 2, 3 here, 4, 5. So there'll be there'll be a little top coming in here, and then there'll be another one here. So there'll be a bit over here. So you can look for a classic trading level pattern here. That's fine. We still need to go up here further. And Netflix, so yeah, so we're coming up into wave 3 here now. So this is playing out quite nicely. So we can look for wave 4. Didn't I have wave 5 there? No. And then wave 5 up here for that. And then we can look for wave C. So kind of as an example here, there's not much more to the upside for this market really. I don't think that's finished, so I'll just plonk that up there somewhere. And wave 4 will come back into this support here, you know, so I'd imagine that we would be seeing some sort of thing, well, probably maybe just at the top here. And then because the extension's in wave 3 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, so that means that wave 1 here and wave 5 here will be roughly the same. So we could probably just take that into 320 or 315 or something of that nature. Now this wave 4 here, we need that to be a bit time consuming, so kind of give us the right timing for the rest of the markets. But that's going all okay. And also just remember that we'll have group 1 up here, so that will be the 30, whoops, could come down a bit further, the 20 roughly, and the 10. So we've got group 1, group 2 here, so we just need to be, you know, whatever you do in this area here, you kind of really need to, if you're going for the longer haul anyway, you need to sort of marry that trade at that particular point in time. So like that means if you went short here, you couldn't really get out of this until the 330 became the retested resistance with a classic trading levels pattern. Okay, so that's Netflix. And Enphase here. So yeah, a little bit rough in all of this down here, but I remember we noted that we had a reasonable 5 waves here that made a low, so we can call the low in here. So we're waiting for it to chuff off a little bit. It's doing all the right things, you know, it's struggling against supply. We can look at this as wave 1 and 2 and A, B, C for wave 2 here, then 1 and 2, and then 3 here and 4 here and 5 here. So you can go long here. We talked about this kind of thing, and wave 4 will come into play here, and then wave 5 will go up. So yeah, the extension's in wave 3, so 1 and 5 will be roughly the same. So then it'll come back in an ABC correction. So the trade that you put on here, we'll probably have to hold it as a bit of a loss at that point. And then we'll get another move. We should be getting 5 waves to the upside at this point. Unless you wanted to wait over here, it's probably the right thing to do. It would save capital being tied up for a couple of sessions. I don't know, whatever's important to you at this point. But because we're getting that 5 waves here, well, I think we're getting them. We haven't got them yet. We may just get an A wave to here, a B wave to here, and a C wave to here, and then come down at that point. But if we do get the 5 waves here, which I think is pretty much on the cards from what I can see around the traps, we'll get that 5 waves here, then we'll have a correction, and then we'll have another 5 up. So what I don't know in the bigger picture is that do we have wave 3 here, and is this where I've got this A wave here, is that wave, can we label that wave 4 here, and we just continue up into new highs here? I don't know about that. So as I mentioned before, we'll just have to see how it goes along here, and that means that if we get 5 waves up here, it could be wave 1 or wave A, then we'll have the B wave back here, and then we'll have another 5 waves up here. It's only once we get, so if you went long here, you'd have to just get out up here perhaps. And then after the 5 waves, we have to see if we're going to get a corrective pattern. If we get a corrective pattern, then we can move back in, and then we can go up, and then we know that we've got a low in at that point, because we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the 61.8% mark, or to the 300 will do the trick. If we get 5 here, that means we'll have some larger correction over here, or that may just happen across this level here, whatever the case may be. But if we have 5 waves, then we're going to have another 5 waves over there, so we can look at this as wave 1 and 2 here. So from this wave 4 here, we'd look at all of this as 1 and 2, and then the 3rd wave up, and then the 4th and the 5th, taking us up to 400 or something, you know. So yeah, I don't know if we just go to here as an A and a B and a C, and then come down here to finish wave 4 off here, you know. So it's just a bit of a, you know, bit of a building case really. So I don't think it's going to hurt too much if you have a very small position like buying here right now. And then if we just buying on the open, you know, and if we get the 5 waves here, then we can, you know, if that's a third here, then you can get 2/3 over here for that of the trade, you know, or 50-50 or something, whatever you think's cool at that point. So yeah, there's a bit that we need to still figure out with all of this, but in the meantime, it does appear that we've found what we're looking for, and that is a move to the upside. Alrighty, so with Tesla, as you know, the back up here somewhere, I'm not sure how to count it. So this low here could be wave 1 or wave 3, but in a way it matters and it doesn't, of course. But here it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1, ABC for 2. So this will take us up to 3, 4, and 5 up here, probably close to the 230. Obviously there's going to be problems across here. So I think, you know, I don't think going long here is the go. I think looking for this top here, and then looking for the first 5 down, and then the ABC pattern back up, and then building in the first short trade on the retracement, either at the 61.8% or under here, and it may only get us down to the next level here. So we just make that smaller, and then when that pulls back here, then we can look to add here again as well. So we can just do, you know, part position here, and then do a full position at this point, because anything beyond 3 waves is likely to go down further at that point. So just give that some thought as well. And yeah, don't need those there. We'll do more work on all of this structure when we get up here further, so we can nail down that top a little bit better. Alphabet. So yeah, so I've had wave A here with the rest, and wave B, and then wave 1, and then an ABC for 2 here. I mean, it's just humongous, you know. That's why I think that we could be looking at the A wave here and the B wave over here. So that means if that is an A wave here and a B wave here, that means that the market could come down from that point, you know, as an A wave, a B wave, because they look kind of, they're a nice size, they're a nice match together, aren't they, in terms of size, you know. And then also having this leg here would have some sort of correlation to this leg. So there's kind of a balance between them, you know. So I think we just need to be a little bit sort of cautious. We don't have wave 3 in here just yet, but that would be wave 1 and 2. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd wave. Still need the 4th and the 5th to go up for this. So it'll come in around the top here, and then we'll have the 4th, and then we'll have the 5th here. Probably a little bit short on time, but we'll see. I mean, it could be just wave 3, like I said, and then wave 4 and wave 5. I don't know. Anyway, we'll have to confirm the top. And as you can see, because of this large correction here, chucks a bit of a spanner in the works. It means that we need to do more work a little bit later on over here. We need to be a little bit more patient. And yeah, we've got to kind of go into the guessing game a little bit and to a few blind spots and those sorts of things. Don't need that now. I'm not sure what the retracement level is, probably up around the 110, 1.8 with all of that. So that would take us up a bit further at this point, take us up here somewhere, be about right. So Microsoft. So Microsoft is much the same as Google in a way. So we could treat this as the A, the B as I'm doing, and then we've had it as 1 and 2 here. But should we be looking at it as an A, B, C here for the A wave? Yeah, there's a couple of ways to look at it. But anyway, I think one of the things here is this is a really good accumulation process across here. Really, it's from here all the way across to this point. So we should be seeing that distance here play out up here somewhere. So we should be moving further up at this point. Rightio, and Berkshire Hathaway. So where are we here on 1,000 ticks? So Berkshire Hathaway is one that a bit like the S&P really. So we can look at it as 5 waves down here for the A wave. We can put the B wave here, and then this, well, we look at wave 1 here and then back for wave 2. But we could also look at it as a C wave here, as an A, B, C, and be finished here. I don't think it's the case because of the rest of the markets, but it's plausible. Larry Williams was talking about a low here. So I remember Larry, who was sort of with me, we both agreed on having a low in the COVID situation, along with a couple of other people. So I'm just not so sure about this one so far. The other thing here, as I mentioned, what we're doing with the banks, is pushing this wave B here over to here. And I have to say I kind of like that idea. Because see, this down here doesn't count that nice. I mean, I've got a wave 1 here with an A wave and a B wave here and then a move up. I'm not that really happy with it. It's okay. Everything's cool about that. Everything's okay. But yeah, I think it might be better having this as a B wave down here. So an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here for this B wave, and then come down. So once again, whichever way we look at it, it does appear that we're going up. In terms of going up, you'll just need to be a little bit mindful because the market will stall. In this case, you can take it from this low or this low here. I'll just take it somewhere in the middle of those, but this will be the 61.8% here, so it's a 290. So you can expect the 290 to play out a little bit more than it normally would. And the other count that I've got here is on 100 ticks, which is as with that B wave here. So looking at all of this down here is the A wave here, then the A wave here, and then down here for an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for the B wave, and then looking for 5 waves up here further, in fact up into this space here. So, this is a stock that I mentioned, you're better off going long in this stock rather than going short in this stock, generally speaking, So, yeah, anyway, needs to go further to the upside, and there's different ways to count this little bit here. But the bottom line here, this will be 1 and 2 here, and this will be 3, and it'll be 4 and be 5 up here. So you could probably buy this back at the 280. Or just split the bet, get some now, and if it comes back to the 280, then get it, because it may not come back, it might just run, but we should see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and ABC, and then back and then heading higher. So I'll leave that with you, because when the market takes out the top here somewhere, it normally comes back and tests it a bit. Just remember the 290's got will carry a little bit more weight than normal at this point for that 61.8%. Anyway, this is just two different ways to count it. So because if it goes above the 290, then this count would be right, wouldn't it? Would have to look at it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. I mean, it's going to take a little bit of time to do all that, isn't it? But so we'll just keep an eye on it. It might just be the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave to the 290 and then come down as well. So that's your risk at this point. Rightio. So block here, as I mentioned, that the ranges are really quite small here, expecting it to go up. So it should. We had nice volume coming off the low here, and stochastics are clicking over once again. It's pretty choppy, but even so, we should see it push up. But I don't see it doing. It'll be something like this here, coming to this wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, or covering that gap or something of that nature. But it should be okay to push up from here. It does look like this is, I mean, we looked at this before as being corrective, and took out that top there, but now it's still, even though it came down, it's still in a corrective pattern, so we can still push up higher at this point. So if you're long, that's okay, but there'd be better stocks with more range in them at this point. And the banks, so yeah, I've moved the banks over to an A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave up here for this. Now I might need to push this wave 1 to this point here, so I'll just give that some consideration. I won't go to the intraday on these, but I can tell you that they're going to be going up further. So yeah, and this one's quite high here, so taking the top out here really makes the A, the B and the C the right thing to do at this point, and especially with Morgan's here, that was the stronger one. So taking the top out here, it can reach up here for this. Should be a bit of a dance across the top here, coming back and checking the 120, but still to the upside. And also with Goldman's as well, you can see how Goldman's, I've always harped on about this, hasn't taken the low out here and has left us with a 3-wave move here. So having this as the A, the B and the C here, and then coming down for the next leg here, I think is pretty much spot on, rather than calling, it's a bit difficult to call a wave. It's a bit difficult to put this wave C in here as a truncated 5th wave in this, on this low here, but that just doesn't sort of. And the other thing too, when you sort of, when you look at this whole leg here, for example, whichever way you count it, doesn't really matter, the size of that, and then if you look at the size of this here, the next structure as being an ABC pattern here, like just the size of that is a bit more balanced against that, you know what I mean? And then we will have, we all know that there's something wrong with the economy, and people are starting to put their finger on it, or starting to see things in, breaking down of the underlying structure in treasuries and bond spreads and all those sort of things. But the thing here is that, to have this leg over here, and drawn out. C waves are normally, long and laborious, and, that sort of, that would suit what's going on in the world at the moment, So I think this is the right pattern here, But, as always, once we do if we get 5 waves up here, anything above that, then we can look at it being bullish. It doesn't mean we need to wait from that point. You can go long here if you want, and we'll count those 5 waves up through here, and yeah, so that will be that. There'll be 2 stops along the way, because we need to look at, we need even this count here coming up here may take a little bit longer than the S&P with its ABC pattern up here. The ABC pattern for the S&P is going to be a little bit shorter. Anyway, we'll pull all those together, and that's just lithium there. So it looks like lithium is ready to push up now from that, so it's moved past that little ABC pattern there for any lithium stock traders. Alrighty, sorry for such a long video, but yeah, I think it's important to just take our time and look at things a bit carefully. Alrighty, cheers.